Ladies and gentlemen, here I am, super excited, because look who I met, look who I bumped into. This is the lovely Monica, aka Martha Katana, who, if you watch the show Becky, she played my mother, Martha Katana, and I was playing Junior Katana. So it's an honor and a privilege to be here with her. And we're just going to go through a couple of questions about what she's been up to, about the acting industry, and any insights she has to share with us. So, join me as we start this journey. Okay, cool. So, Martha, how are you doing? We've missed you on screen, especially me. You don't even know what I've been through. I've been through so much, since you've been gone.
I've been good. I've been busy.
Yeah.
And I missed you too, son. I've had very many questions from fans that I made, let's say like in the malls or at the market or wherever, and I'm usually asked, what happened to you? We thought you died. I said, that is acting. But actually in real life, I'm alive.
Fantastic, and we're glad for that. So to be honest with you, I haven't met every single person, but Martha is someone who I had to meet. I connected with her, not just as an actor, she's an amazing actress. To be honest, I'm a huge fan, but also she's an incredible person as well. So I'm really, really touched and honored that she agreed to come to this interview.
Thank you.
So, Monica, we're going to go through a couple of questions. The first one is, for those who haven't watched the show, can you very briefly describe who Martha Katana is for them? Just in your own words.
Martha Katana was a very strong, wealthy, a strong personality kind of woman. She was I'm always confused. Do you say widower or widow?
Widow.
A widow.
Yes.
But then with the very many tricky bits in there, because we were not sure whether I had a husband or not.
True.
Whether my husband was dead or did I remarry or not.
How did you? Yeah. Did he die? How did he die?
Did I die or not? Yeah. How did I die? Because I'm sure even the audience were like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
It was an abrupt death. But for Martha Katana, I would say strong personality, no nonsense mother or woman.
Yes.
Yes.
I'd agree with that 100%. But I'd also add, Martha Katana was a very loving woman. She had almost like two sides. She had like an intriguing side, a mysterious side. I mean, in some ways she was dangerous, and I think her children didn't really understand how much. But at the same time, she was very, very loving with a soft spot for her children. So that's something that was...
Oh, thank you. And I remember there's once on set, he said, I act bipolar.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did. And I was like, actually, this character does make me look bipolar. 1 minute I'm loving to each and everybody, and the next minute as cold as ice. Anyway.
Okay. Thank you for that description. Of course, she's a very lovely person in real life. So, I guess my second question to you is, when you think back to your role as Martha Katana, are there any scenes that really stood out to you? One, that were your favorite, that you really enjoyed shooting. Two, that you struggled with, that were really, really challenging. And then my third question tied to that is something that there's a fan out there who asked me to ask you. That final scene where you're in the bathroom and you pass on, what was that like, shooting that? So those three, your favorite, your worst or most difficult, and then that final scene.
Let me start with my favorite. I think my favorite was when I found Trisha in the kitchen trying to prepare you a meal.
Yes.
I think it was breakfast, and I started by being all this, lovey-dovey and, chatting her up and appreciating her. And then the next minute I was busy trying to burn her face.
In the pan.
I loved that part because it really, I think it looked so real for me.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I was like, oh my God, this actually happens to people. That's a
Does
thing.
it?
It does. Let me tell you. Let me digress a bit.
Yeah.
One of the other things that I realized my role brought to Kenyans is that I played a role of a woman somewhere. I played a role of a mother-in-law somewhere.
Yeah.
I played a role of a mother somewhere. So there's some ladies that I've met and they're like, you don't know what you're doing to me. You don't know what you're doing to us.
Okay.
So that was my best.
Yeah.
Did you say worst?
Yeah, most difficult. Worst or most difficult?
Oh, wow. The most difficult was when I had to break the news that I had cancer. Yet I didn't.
Yes.
Yes, that for me, the emotion was deep down, and it actually really made me dig to the darkest of the darkest parts I can have within myself, so that I'm able to bring out the character and bring out the emotions of that particular scene, and for the audience to be able to connect, or be able to associate with what I was trying to pass across. And then of course it came out where I just had a quack for a doctor.
There are too many dodgy doctors in the show.
I know, quite a number. There was a third one.
Yeah. So the third one was that final scene when you're in the bathroom and you're still. What was that like? I mean, leading up to that moment, and what did it feel like? What was running through your mind? Because it was very clear what was running through my mind, and I think you and I had some conversations even around that.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the things that I know, even like my cast members as well, was shocked about, is the fact that I knew that I was gonna die. Okay, from the script, and it shocked my cast members that how easy I was being able to play the part of the death, okay, and how I was taking it step by step, and you know how it is, Junior.
Yeah.
When you're shooting, there's many takes you take before actually the director loves the not scene, what would we call it?
Well, the
take that he likes. So a couple of times we did a couple of shoot or scene or whatever you can call it.
Yeah.
And also that also cut too close to home for me, considering that I had experienced a number of deaths leading to my dying in the show. So I guess it also a lot of emotions, and I could cry now.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, to be honest, that was the saddest moment and scene of the whole show for me. I mean, at some point, other things happen, and Becky gets kidnapped. But that when you pass on and I find you, it was so painful.
I felt it.
There's a scene where after that, I even actually tear up. I'm meant to be crying, and both you and I, we'd lost very special people in our lives, and it was very, very difficult.
It was.
There are scenes that you and I also shot in hospital,
and
those kinds of they were triggers and reminders. So
For both you and I.
Yeah, and I take my hat off to you because you were so poised, so graceful.
Thank you.
Even knowing how the script was going to go, and we didn't know.
Yes.
And I mean, honestly, some of us read that and we were just totally confused.
I remember.
And I think the next few weeks after that, it was still very difficult trying to pick ourselves up, and especially for me, because I was like, it's not just in terms of my character Junior, but as Levi, I walk onto the set, I'm like, where is Martha in this house? I mean, she's the anchor, she's the most experienced actress. I need her for should I just go home?
Yeah. No, you needed to work.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. But I'm really, really grateful for the impact that you had on her soul.
Thank you.
So that brings me to another question.
Yes.
Monica, how do you bring out the best of performances on screen? How do you know when you really delivered in a scene? Is there something you feel, or is it something you think, or do you look to the director? How do you know when you, like, this is probably going to be good?
You do feel it when you've actually delivered. It comes from deep down within your belly, and you can actually tell this one. The audience will be like, she got me, you know. And the trick to doing that is also knowing your character. Learn your character. Learn what your role is in the particular series or movie that you're playing. Immerse yourself into it. And what I always tell people is that film and telly is very natural. Film and telly, you have to be as natural as you can.
I'm taking notes.
Oh, please do.
Thank you.
Film and telly is not like theater. Theater is very animated.
Okay.
Film and telly has to be what you really feel if that particular thing happened to you. How are you going to react? How are you going to be crying? Will you be laughing? Will you be fighting? Oh, one of the other scenes I loved was when I had to slap him because he was being naughty. And actually, I don't know if you got it or if you remember it. Because after a few texts, I was like, I am really sorry, Junior, but for me, this has to be as real as possible because I really need to see your reaction. I need you need to react.
Now I remember. I mean, I'll be honest. One of the first few slaps, they were okay. They were not that, they're not that hard as it. I was thinking, is that all she's got? Initially, and then I remember there's a time that I think just before the line was complete, I think a slap landed. I was so shocked. The reaction was so genuine, and I was really shocked. I felt like a son having received a slap from his mom, and I was just like, wow.
Has your mom ever slapped you for real?
A long time ago.
Not when you're this much.
No.
You know she can still do.
Of course she can. But I'll do everything to make sure I don't find myself.
That doesn't happen. So that was a good thing. So as I'm saying, it has to be as natural as possible, and sometimes your cast member can catch you off guard, so that you can give as much, or you can perform, better than what the director wants you to give. You know what I mean? And the director will be like, perfect. Perfect.
You just hope he doesn't say, let's do another take.
Exactly, because that's it. It won't come on that same. Yes.
Wow. Okay. So that makes me think of another question, which is when you think back to the role of Martha Katana, would you say that you chose the role? Like, this is what I want, or do you feel like the role chose you? Like when you think back to it,
Let me think about things for a minute. I know I got chosen for the role. I don't know, maybe the director at that particular moment knew that I would be able to deliver. But on the other hand, let me say, as we started and continued shooting,
Yeah.
I actually realized, wow, I can play this role quite well. And
Okay.
it reached a point where I even scared myself a little bit.
That's
And I
hilarious.
know, and when I say that, it's because even when I went home, sometimes my kids were like, "My God, Mom, you're so mean." And there were those moments they were also like, "That's you." They were like, "That's you, Mom."
Okay.
So I feel it's a bit of both.
Okay.
The role chose me, and I chose the role.
Wow.
Yeah. So I hope I played it well.
I think you did a fantastic job.
Oh, thank you.
And in fact, no, I know you did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
And it makes me want to ask you another question, which is that so many people have honestly said
Yeah.
that you were the most outstanding and memorable actor in the whole show.
No, you're kidding.
It's true. It's
Oh,
true.
wow.
And of course, I also agree. I mean, to be honest, here's a secret. Instead of reading my lines, I used to go and watch her every time she was acting. And just like a fan, just soak up I wanted to be there for every single scene, to the point that, the director would be like, okay, could you just go and change? Go and do your lines.
It's
So-
funny the things that come out when you really after you're dead and you're out of the program. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. So my question is,
Yeah.
did you know when you're delivering that you would be that memorable? And if so, how do you act in such a way that people really just can't forget you're acting? Because there are people who can act like a villain or act mean, and you're like, I just don't like them or whatever. But when people talk about you, they talk about your acting itself, and they think that you're so balanced. They see your humanity. They see you struggle as a mother. Sometimes mothers are harsh, and that's just life.
Yes.
Yeah, how did you become so memorable? Like,
Oh, thank you. Let me start by saying thank you.
it's true. It's true.
Oh, wow. I could shed a tear, but I'll control myself.
Yeah.
Let me go back to what I just said a few minutes ago,
Yeah.
where I mentioned that television, you have to be as real as possible. Television, you have to be as natural as possible. Television, unfortunately, you have to be as there's a word I'm looking for. You have to open yourself up.
Kind of authentic or something.
Authentic. There's another one. When I find the word, I'll say it.
Okay.
You have to be very open to anything and everything. Yes? To anything and everything. Where when you need to really show your emotions, you really have to show your emotions. Hence my saying, be real.
Okay.
Let your emotions be as real as possible. It might be acting,
Yeah.
but go deep down to what your reaction would actually be.
Okay.
If you experience that particular thing that you have to present to the audience. If you're being funny, be yourself. How funny can you be? Just put yourself in a situation where you always try to make your friends laugh.
Okay.
Or let's say your family members.
Yeah.
If it's, let's say, crying, how deep can you go to make yourself cry? What
Okay.
actually makes you cry? Those are things
Yeah.
you have to invest in as an actor, actually.
So basically, from what I'm hearing you say, acting takes a lot of humility and vulnerability,
Yes.
and then
Oh, that's a word. You have to be vulnerable.
that's the word, vulnerable. Okay, and then it's almost like you have to be egoless, like your ego. It's like Levi doesn't matter now.
Yeah.
Monica doesn't matter. What
It's
matters is
Junior.
or Martha and what
Yes.
they're feeling.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That makes acting a bit hard. It also means that if you're in an intense role for a while,
Yeah.
I'm sure it can have an impact on you. So all the acting that you did as Martha, did that have an impact on you for a while? how did it change? How did it impact your life? Did it affect your mood? Did it affect your interactions with people? And then how do you transition? How do you deal with that, and how do you transition back to your usual self, if you can? Or are there roles that can change you permanently? I don't know.
Oh, as I said, when I got this role, I mean, it was a role that came at a time that I was going through a lot of loss and grief. And this really, I think, made me kind of be able to deal with what I was experiencing, the loss and grief. It was therapeutic for me. It was kind of therapy as well. You know, it's maybe what I could call like talk therapy, because all I did on in front of the camera was talk, and be able to show my emotions. So at that particular time, I don't feel it changed me. I was just able to deal with what I was going through, which was very important for me.
Okay.
And then, as I died and left the program, then I feel that's when I was then able to go back to being Monica. I was able to going back to be who I actually really am. That's when I was able to deal with the actual loss that I was dealing with when I was on set. So it has taken me it has taken me a while. It has taken me a while to be able to be where I am now. Not completely. You don't find yourself completely healed, you know. But once you start going through the process and the levels of loss and grief, then you're able to always gauge where you're at in life. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't know. Does that answer my question to you?
It does, and it makes me also want to say at this point, thank you for lending your talent to Kenya
Thank
and to the
you.
region, to us as fellow cast, especially at the time when it wasn't easy for you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And doing that with strength. And I also want to thank I want to thank your kids as well. I want to thank your family
Thank you.
for allowing you to work with us and being so strong. You carry this even though you're going through so much.
Yes,
And especially I know even with the passing of my own dad,
yes.
the truth is she stood up for me on set many times, and
Imagine.
I really am thankful.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much.
You're welcome, Sunny.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I do have a couple more questions.
Okay.
Now these are the questions are slightly different. Okay, so we know the show ended, and I don't know
Oh,
if
it did?
it ended, yes.
Oh.
And how it ended is so somehow, so of course Junior gets married to Becky. Apparently with your blessing, because you went to your
Really?
grave, mom's grave, and yeah, apparently, but but lots of trials. So many people came in between. She almost left. She came back.
Oh, wow.
And then so a lot happens.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's life, but it
I know.
happens to people.
It does. It does. It does.
So I guess one question I have is, in an alternative universe, if you were the script writer, how would the show end, or how would Martha have been?
Oh, don't set me up, Junior.
Am I?
No.
Is that tricky?
That one is tricky.
Okay.
I don't want to step on anybody's toes
Okay.
or legs
Okay,
or
okay.
foot.
Okay.
So if you don't mind, can we pass that one?
Yeah.
Because yes, let's just pass it.
Okay. We can pass that one. We acknowledge, we appreciate the script as it was.
Yeah.
And our job as actors is not to write the script,
Nope.
but to deliver.
It's to
And
deliver the script.
So that's her professionalism coming through. Okay. Okay. So, what separates? So, I was going to ask you: should all TV actors begin in theatre? do you have to begin in theatre or what? What do you think?
Not really.
Okay.
I don't think so, because one thing for me, what I notice is that you can always tell a TV actor who has started in theatre.
Okay.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
How do I know that? Me, as Monica.
Yeah.
Remember, we had talked about the difference between theatre and television.
Yeah.
I always find the ones who start from theatre and come to television, it can be a bit difficult to change because there's a lot of animation. So even when you tell them, tone it down, because you find you on set with some of them, you know, even when they're told, no, tone it down, you need to be as natural as you can.
Okay.
So I don't believe that. For me, I'd say because now we have that in our colleges. I don't know that there's any university that's doing acting at the moment. Is there any? Julia?
No, as a university.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I know there are a few like acting schools.
Yeah, acting schools.
Film
yeah.
schools have
Film
done.
schools are doing it. Yeah.
So for me, I'd say or suggest go to film school. Start at film school. Get involved with interns films because that also helps you gauge yourself where you are. Are you doing good?
Yeah.
Or are you, you know, you're not there yet?
Yeah.
And then always start small if you can. Yes? Start small, but not... Sorry. I did say that from a bad place.
She's not naming any names, Junior. Okay. Uh-huh.
Sorry, that wasn't meant to be.
No, it's okay.
It wasn't to whatever him.
Yeah.
But always say, build your brand slowly if you can.
Yeah.
And you know, even as yourself, you know yourself.
Yeah.
Because I always feel if you start big, and this is nothing to do with you, if you start big, being like a main character, then when you get another gig where you have to be like a supporting, you can kind of feel that you've lowered your standards or something. You know what I mean? I don't know if you understand that. And I'm just one of those people who believes in building yourself slowly but surely. Okay?
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean don't do the supporting actor gigs either.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that honest response. Okay.
Yes.
Another question that I have for you is, did being on Becky change your life in any way? And if so, how? And can I just add, so how did being on Becky change your life if it did? And secondly, how did it change the lives of any of your family members if it did?
Let me talk about being on Becky.
Yeah.
It did. It changed my life in a way that I was like, whoa, because you don't realize how many people watch local channels. Okay, that's what I mean. And I realized that even though it was a local channel, you don't realize how many people watch Citizen TV. Okay. Before I did Becky, I had done a show that was on Showmax. And that one, it was okay. I loved my role. I loved everything. And I loved the fact that even if I walked on the street, nobody really could recognize me or whatever. But Becky, oh my God. even hiding under the car is difficult.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's no exaggeration.
I appreciate
Yeah.
it. It's a role I loved. As I had said earlier, it's a role I loved playing.
Yeah.
But I did not imagine how actually countrywide you go anywhere you go.
Good shags.
Let me tell you what happened to me.
What
I
happened?
went because I'm a rally person.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, so I went for the safari rally.
Yeah.
And we were at the Sleeping Warrior here.
Okay.
It's in just next to, what's that place called? Kikope. Okay,
yeah.
Sleeping Warrior, it's inside.
Okay.
So I'm there with my buddies, you know, we are waiting for the rally cams to come, setting up, 2 minutes after that, because it's area for the Maasai.
Yeah.
So these ladies are walking.
Maasai ladies.
Yes,
Real
you know,
Maasai
in their whole ligaria and everything.
Yeah.
So they're like, and I'm wearing a cap, and
Yeah.
but then they're like, no. So then they moved back, and I was with one of my friends, and she was like, Monica, oh my God, here we go. Don't tell me even here people watch TV, because
Amazing.
one thing that my friends do is every time I meet with a fan or someone who recognizes me, all they do is laugh. They laugh. I mean, what kind of friends are those? And by the way, Andrew, they've never watched any of my shows.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, neither have I, but they've never watched any of my shows.
Yeah.
So for me, this particular role did actually, it has changed my life. And these ladies came and they were like, no, we have to take pictures with you. Then I got like another 5 ladies and their kids coming to take pictures and everything.
Yeah.
They even dressed me in their shukas. I was like, wow, you try and go to the deep of the depth.
I think that's something we have to say to the fans. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
the
very
immense
much.
love.
Thank you.
It's really touching, and it's such an honor to have the chance to touch other people's lives.
Yeah.
For all those minutes you spent watching the show,
Thank
we're
you.
thankful, and we're also thankful to the producers of the show for the opportunity.
Yes.
We just have to say thank you to them and the crew. So, yeah. Wow, that's inspiring.
It is.
It's inspiring.
Let me tell you, try and go to Shags. Have you gone?
I don't want to try now.
In the bus, in the wherever.
Yeah.
Try and go to Shags.
Wow.
Then you'll tell me.
Okay.
Anyway, does that answer your question?
It does. It
Okay,
does.
good.
How about for your kids? Do they say anything? Have they watched the show? Do their friends say, "Hey, isn't your mom so and so?"
No, they get that.
Yeah.
They get that a lot, but
Yeah.
also I realized that most of their friends did watch the show a lot, and
Wow,
and
yeah.
it's because they know who I am.
Yes,
you
yes,
know,
yeah.
they come to my house, or my kids go to their homes, and their parents also watched the show. You know. And you had asked about my relative. My relatives watched the show as well.
Okay.
And they were like, oh my God. Because my home name is Wairimu or Nimo. They're like, wow, Wairimu. Epo just go and do this to that son of yours. Epo go and do this to that daughter-in-law of yours.
Okay.
Epo go and do this,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yes. There was a lot of family and friends.
Yeah.
The friends who actually watched.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I guess another question I have for you
Yes.
is
God, you had a major lineup.
I had
shocked.
several.
There's
I had
until
several.
20. I'm having coffee that he bought me.
Yeah, because I guess Junior he's not a bad son. He's not too bad. Maybe one of the questions that I'd like to ask you is, when you look at the industry, we know that social media really came up in a big way, and there are people who do lots of great acting on social media. You know, they have almost like their own productions. How do you think the online media and social media has changed traditional acting on TV? How has it changed the industry, in your view? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing?
Let me start by saying this. It's different when you're doing it in front of your camera. it is different. Even like now,
Yeah.
it is different when you're doing it in front of your camera, because in front of your camera, you want it to be perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. But when you're actually in front of a DOP and the director and your fellow cast members,
And someone's holding a light. In front of your
yes, someone
face.
is holding the light and there's the boom there
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
You really have to be, again, as natural as you can be.
Yeah.
So there's a major difference between those two, Andrew.
Yeah.
When you're doing it by yourself, there's no way it can be the same as doing it in front of a real major professional crew.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Does that make sense to
Yeah,
you?
it does. It does.
Because when you're doing it yourself, you can do whatever you want.
Okay.
You can do whatever you want, and you can pick at those points that you want people to actually see.
Yeah.
You know, the good bits. Now, the thing with being in front of the camera, they will pick whatever they want.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anything that will show the realness of the show, that's what they will pick.
Okay.
So,
you're not in control.
You're not in control. The only control you have as a cast is to perform.
Yeah.
I will always go back to that.
Okay.
The only control you have as a cast is to control, is to perform.
perform.
And perform to what the director will appreciate.
Okay.
Yes. And also your cast members.
Okay.
Yeah?
Now, Monica, there's another question that we were discussing before we went on air. We started
There was a
recording,
lot.
and one of the things is about mental health, really.
Yes.
So, we know the industry is not easy, and sometimes we hear stories about people being in difficult spaces. Why is that, and what can be done, in your view, to curb some of the depression, the drug addiction? Maybe you might want to tell people the reality on the ground, if that happens, and how rampant and why, and then what can be done if you were in a position to change things.
Now, one of the things I'd like to start by saying is that acting is a very difficult job. By the time you're sitting down as an audience to appreciate something that's like 20 minutes or 30 minutes, you don't know the work that the actors have put in. The takes can be 20. The takes
For one
can
scene,
be,
for one
yes,
scene, yeah.
for one scene. And one scene can take you what? How long? Half a day?
Yeah.
Half a day to shoot? And then the editing comes to 20 or 30 minutes. You're like, and the way that day I was sweating.
Yeah.
You know?
It's true.
That's one of the things, because it would be good for artists, especially in Kenya. Kenya, I still feel we haven't really started appreciating our actors as much as, let me say, like Tanzania or as Nigeria or as South Africa. You know, I find we're still at that point where we're like, acting. Anyway, how are you gonna make a living out of it? But you know what? People are making a living out of it.
True.
The thing is, can we make it more appreciated for the actors to be able to live a good life?
So by that, do you mean just financially?
Financially especially.
Okay.
Financially especially, because you find most of the time that most Kenyan actors struggle a lot. And it's a really sad thing, because we've got amazing talent in this country. Amazing talent, you know? And then you find, if for example you do a show for one media house and you do a show for another media house, you find the pay, sometimes it's totally different, and you're like, why?
Yeah.
Why? Why should it be different? Yet I'm offering my services as the actor or as the cast. Yet people appreciating this, this show or this film.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm just recovering from flu.
It's good.
So I would want us to get to a point where actors in this country are being appreciated financially. Really, that's the number one thing. And I know right now even the is it CS of art and these days I can't connect those the culture and whatever is really trying the best. Kudos to you. But we can still do more. Because another thing that people have to know about actors, and this happens worldwide, not only in Kenya. Actors go through, the graph where you have work for days. You have work for days. And intense. You can shoot day shoots, you do night shoots, and then you have a plateau. It can be dead for days. So this for artists is a challenge,
right?
Because during those months where you have nothing you're doing, because also what happens most of the time, Andrew, is that when you have this work for days, you go on some sets that tell you cannot have another show.
True.
I don't know whether you've experienced that.
Yeah, it's true.
You go on some sets that are like, you cannot have another shoot. And you're like, I know these artists well. So how do you expect me to just survive on this? For me, I wish we could get to a point where even, I don't know whether I could say producers or, yes, it's producers, from the executive to the ones on set. Yeah. I wish we could get to a point where even if an actor has like 2 jobs or 3 jobs, why not just be able to organize them or organize the is it set in a way that the actor is able to incorporate everything. They can come and perform on your set, one set properly and beautifully. Yes. They can go to the second set and perform beautifully and immaculately. They can go on the third set where they can then also perform to the best. I think it's time we get to a point where you should let actors be able to work with other
productions.
Yes, with other productions, even if they're working with one. Don't let an actor come and sit on set from morning to night and you're doing nothing. They
haven't shot a scene. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, that's true.
You cannot tell me. Come to set by 7. Yeah. Then still, even by 6, I have
6 p.m.
Yes, I have not shot anything. If there's something that does to an actor,
very true.
It demoralizes you.
Very true.
It really, your energy levels leak.
Yep.
And then sometimes you find that set tells you, we cannot give you this, we cannot give you this, we cannot provide water, we cannot provide coffee, we cannot provide, cocoa or tea.
It can take you out of character
completely.
And then when you're tired, when your sugar dips, even your lines become tricky to remember.
They won't come.
Yeah, so
they will not come. And then when you go in front of the camera, even the director will be like, no, I didn't like that.
And then they'll assume you weren't prepared, and yet you were very, very prepared when you walked in.
Yes.
I hear you.
I wish we could get to a point where although there are some sets I've worked on and it works fantastically, they tell you, fine, you're going to shoot from about 5 to, let's say, 8 p.m.
Yes.
Okay? So they tell you, why can't you be here by 1 or 2 p.m. because you need to prepare in terms of
Yes.
makeup. You can do your outfits, then go through the lines with the cast, with your fellow cast members.
Yes.
For me, that works much better than
Yeah.
being told to spend a whole day.
Yeah.
And sometimes you live without having done any work.
Yeah.
I mean, the next day you wake up and you're like, I ain't going back.
That's exactly how you feel. No, I understand.
Does that make sense?
It does. It makes sense. And
yeah.
I think, to be honest, at the risk of putting my neck on the line, I think the industry should become a bit more humane. Let's all just be a bit more humane.
Yeah.
And I'm not blaming anybody in particular, but when you're on a set, treat the crew right, treat the cast right, so people can perform well. And number two, I also think that at the level of the production, of the producers, they don't always get enough funding, so I know sometimes their hands are tied.
Yeah.
But if you can be more humane, so for example, the government and these funders, let me challenge you. Why don't you, challenge yourself and fund the industry a bit more? Give the industry a bit more money and just see what we can produce. See if we cannot produce things that touch on matters that affect people's lives.
Every
Right
day.
now, if you want people to pay tax, you could actually do something about that.
Exactly.
If you want people to understand the importance of tax, if you want them to understand the importance of voting, if you want them to understand the importance of sanitation, all those are things that could be acted if the right people are funding and creating the right environment for actors and for crew to create a nice production. So that's some food for thought.
And even when you're funded, please,
Yeah.
even the people in charge, don't be greedy. Please, because then that's how the actors then suffer.
Yeah.
The actors then suffer because most of the time you go and you're told it's a budget.
She's straight.
Yes.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
And when you hear that, you're like, let's see what it will be like.
The crazy thing is that there's never any transparency.
No.
You just told
That's
the
it.
budget is really tight.
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
Say
We
it.
can't discuss that.
But also don't misuse the actors. For me,
Yeah.
that one really hurts me.
Yeah.
Because as I said, there's there's talent out here, and I'm
Yeah.
sure most of you have seen it and you can see,
Yeah.
and you can tell. But
And there are
let's
people-
not misuse it.
You're right, and there are people who don't want to venture into it. Maybe they're very talented, but they don't want to venture into it because of what they're seeing going on or whatever they perceive.
Yes.
That being said, we also do appreciate all the efforts that have been made to date. I'm sure acting now isn't what it was
Yeah.
many, many years ago. So we appreciate the strides ahead, but I think we can do more. We can be more humane. So I'd
I
like
agree
to...
with you.
Thank you. So maybe my final question for you is...
We're finished.
Because I want to give you an opportunity to ask me one question.
Okay.
One question. So my final question to you is, we've had the privilege of being well known, being visible. Some people call it fame or popularity. Now my question to you is, what would you like people to remember you for? Because right now, whatever happens, some people out there beyond your family will always remember you, will always know your name. That's a fact. And now that we're on social media, like YouTube, that content may be online for many, many years to come. It's not like a TV show only, So, how do you want people to remember you? What impact do you want to have left, on screen? What lessons would you want people to take from having seen you? Not just Becky, but
Yes,
generally.
but
Yeah.
I want people to take home or to remember me for the characters I have played. Did they make an impact on you? Did I pass a message across? Did I play the character well? Did I deliver the message I was supposed to deliver, or was I just there to be seen? I want to be remembered as someone who has even brought change in somebody or people's lives, in terms of maybe some of the characters I've played, because I've played different characters. Of course, for the better. I would want to be remembered as somebody who has kind of made a difference, or who has made a difference in the art industry in Kenya, and to actually convince people, yeah, there are good actors out there, you know. Yeah. Does that say anything?
It does. I mean, I'll definitely remember you for that. I think that you generally set a standard on
Thank
set
you. Thank you.
With your performances.
Thank you.
And and you've inspired many people like myself
Thank
to see
you.
that. Sometimes when you're in another profession, you can think that, let's say if you're a lawyer, you can know, okay, if you win a case, it means you're good.
Yes.
Right? In acting, you're not always sure what the metric is, how to measure.
Exactly.
But when people like me see your performance, we now know, okay, now if you can look and deliver like Martha can deliver, then you know you're doing something. Or at least you're making some progress forward. So
Thank you.
it's true, it's
Thank
true.
you, Andrew. Funny thing is that this is the time he's saying this to me.
It's a chance that I have to say it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I haven't seen him since I died.
Yeah,
By the way, I
yeah.
haven't seen him since I died.
It's so good to see you, and you're looking terrific.
Yeah, thank you. So
And thank you. So,
yes.
maybe finally, if you have any message for people out there, or you have a question for me, and having said that, I just want to say a great, big, and deep thank you. Thank you for making the time. I appreciate you as a person,
Yes.
and I just want to say, actors are very special people. Many, I don't count myself in this. I mean, real actors. Many very, very. I don't know. I could say genius, but that term is used
No, they are.
loosely.
They are.
But many have very innovative ways of thinking, and I think that they should also be spoken to or consulted about things beyond this industry, because I think that they could inject some creativity and some innovation. So Martha's one of those people. If you meet her, please, she's very wise. If you have any, just consult her.
Feeling
really.
clever right now.
Consult her, and of course she's also an educator. So she's someone who really cares about training
Yes,
people.
thank you.
So
And I do train people to be educators as well. So yeah.
yeah.
Oh, so well, let's see. What am I going to ask you first of all? Let me ask you something. This being your first gig, okay, and as openly as you can be, please, because I will
Yeah.
be able to tell when you're lying.
Okay.
Tell me, how was your experience? And then also, you started by getting like a main character part.
Okay.
So, how did you find that? How do you feel about it? What impact has it had on your life?
Wow.
That 1 year?
Yeah.
Because I know your life has changed, and I don't know. He's the face of what?
Oh no.
The face of what?
I'm not facing. No, it's
You
just,
are.
I just been helping out some people out
Yes.
there.
Okay. Sorry. Too many questions. for you.
Wow.
Change.
So, I think first of all, I thank God for the opportunity, and it has had an impact on me in many ways. For example, I'm a private person. I love meeting people in a place like this and chatting openly. But now knowing that most places have to wear a cap and a mask, maybe shades, and it's not just for me, but sometimes it's so that you don't cause disruption somewhere.
Exactly.
So sometimes you can go
Exactly.
somewhere and maybe people need to be quiet, or people need to, and then they see you and they just need to reach out. So that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think being misjudged. I think there are also people who are haters. That's
Oh, yeah.
that's not easy.
Oh yeah.
And and then also there are temptations, as you know. There are
Yeah.
temptations in the industry, and making sure one doesn't fall for those
And I
temptations.
think we talked about that.
Yeah, we did.
Remember?
And I
We
listened.
talked about that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I blue ticked you, no, the reason I blue ticked you is because of Martha.
Not in a bad way.
Yeah, not in a bad way.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
In terms of being a main character, I don't know if I consider the main character to have been Becky herself, and then I saw it,
Supporting.
yeah, I felt like we were just supporting that,
Yeah.
helping create a story. For me, I didn't think it was a big deal before, but now I realize that especially if you work on another set, people look at you a certain way
Yeah.
and expect you to be like big-headed and arrogant.
Yes. Yes.
And yeah, so you have to show that you're humble. So that's really important. Yeah, but nevertheless, I'm thankful for the opportunity, and I take every chance to be on screen as a privilege to tell a story. So whether it's a big part or a small part, just do your best, really. Yeah, that's.
There's one thing I like that he has said, private and humble. He's actually quite a humble guy, and he's also shy.
No.
Yes,
Cut.
look,
You have to edit that. You have to edit that.
But very, very humble, and I agree with you about the private part, private life part, because I'm also a very private person, and many people, artists, you can really get misjudged when people see you on telly, and then you're like, no, I don't want to do it, because even for me, most of the time, I better be at home rather than being out there. And if I'm going to be out there with people, I look for the hole-in-the-wall place that I can be able to really hide and be able to be myself. Yeah. You know what I mean? And be able to enjoy being me and not what people know. Okay? Because also you get misjudged as well from your character. You know what I mean?
True.
So I agree with you there, Julie.
Thank you.
Or Drew. Or Andrew.
Yeah, all those apply.
All there.
Yeah, so I think maybe just to close, I'd like to thank Jiffy Pictures, to be honest, because it was a rare opportunity. And so to Lulu and to Rashid, thank you for the chance, and all the best to the other show, Nema, and all the actors and the crew and the production team. We know it's not easy. Keep going and keep being strong. The comments won't always be positive, and some will be. So stay humble when they're great, and when they're difficult, keep your head up. And if you see us, know that we're regular people. We have good days and not so great days. Yeah. And I just think in whatever area of life you're in, try and do your best. For me, one of the things that I'm trying to do as an accidental celebrity is I'm trying to draw attention to prisons. So I go to prisons now, and I meet many of the people there, and they have amazing talent and amazing stories. I think if you can, let's all find something in this world, a cause that we have, even if it's a small one, even if it's just parenting, where we try and leave the world a more humane place than we found it. So
I like that.
Yeah, that's me pretending to be deep.
No, he is deep. He's not pretending. That's the real him. Okay. Thank you very much, Andrew, for having me on your show.
Pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye, guys. Like, subscribe, etc., all that kind of stuff, if you wish.
Kila kitu.
Bye.